I don't know what kind of look that is because it feels like a
much light.
traditional kind of gentleman's club.
Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, we're not that kind of gentleman's club, no.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Wonder of the Seas video. Glenn and I have just got back off a transatlantic where we sailed from Barcelona to Port Canaveral in Florida, where we stayed in an owner's suite. There's a lot of videos already up if you're interested in what the suite experience was like. But we are going to continue talking a little bit more about food because there are, I think, 19 restaurants or eateries, shall we say, on Wonder of the Seas. And we're going to very quickly take you through the ones that we tried. Well, I'll tell you what we didn't try. Wonderland. We have done Wonderland on, what was it we did Wonderland? Was it Oasis or Ovation?
I don't know.
I can't remember. But we did Wonderland and we thought Wonderland was a great experience, but with really average food. So on this sailing, we didn't feel like the need to have that experience again. I liked Wonderland. I thought it was fine. But as I say, it's a very, very popular restaurant. And for us, it really wasn't worth the stress of trying to get into it. Coastal Kitchen.
So Coastal Kitchen, one of those perks of being in a full suite. All I can say is, wow, it's a restaurant which is exclusive to suite guests and some pinnacles. But it's a great oasis of calm away from the rest of the ship.
An oasis of calm.
What I will call it.
Do you work for the marketing team?
I should do. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and it's a full-service restaurant. You can have 3 courses even for breakfast, and I think I did a couple of times. And you were your main complaint about Coastal Kitchen is what?
It's slow. Oh my gosh, the service was so slow. Breakfast for me is something I want to be in and out in half an hour.
Right.
That's why I like the Windjammer for breakfast. But in Coastal Kitchen, you're there for a good hour and 20 minutes. There was a day where they forgot that your mum was there and they'd gone down for breakfast before us. They were sat down, they got seated, and then they didn't wait on them. They had to ask someone to be...
So what you're saying is, it's a sit-down, full-service meal
well, that's what
venue,
it is, but
you'd rather have a buffet.
But the experience in Coastal Kitchen is not as fantastic as I'd had in the past.
Okay, we disagree with this, and all I will say, in my defence, is on night 1, we went to Coastal Kitchen. We went to Coastal Kitchen, and he had the filet mignon, and at the end of it, he said, "Well, that's pretty much one of the best steaks I've ever eaten in my life."
It was
so for him
amazing.
to say Coastal Kitchen is, it's a little bit slow.
No. I'm saying the service, but the actual food itself is pretty good.
It's a great perk.
You do get the main dining room menu as well in the evenings. So people really do like Coastal Kitchen. And I think the quality of the food there is fantastic. I'm not slating the food. I just thought the service was a little bit slow. But, you know, to Royal Caribbean's credit, they had brought on 400 new members of staff in Barcelona when we embarked. So there was a lot of training to be done. So my experience on Coastal Kitchen, the slow service is probably not going to be what everyone's going to get.
If you're a buffet person, you won't be swayed. If you like a sit-down menu, this is better than main dining. End of story. Right, cut. Right, next video, go.
What was your favourite restaurant on Wonder of the Seas, Glenn?
Ooh, can I have 2?
You can have 2.
All right, in that case, no, can I have 3?
You're going to say, let me guess what you're going to say. You're going to say Playmakers. Yeah.
Is that a restaurant though? I'm not really sure.
No, it's an eatery. Let's talk about Playmakers quickly then. Playmakers has the most amazing food, bar food, on any cruise ship that I've ever had. The chicken wings were so good.
Yeah, hot tip. When you get your chicken wings, ask for them plain. Because if you don't, they smother them with so much sauce. Literally, you've got it running down your arms. Ask for them dry and you can dip it in.
And the bathroom to wash your hands is miles away. So you have to so get them dry and get the sauce in a pot. The nachos, the portion of the nachos was ridiculous. Also, the tower of onion rings, which is in all the promo stuff, you have to eat them first because as the onion rings cool and you get to the bottom, they're not so tasty, in my opinion. But
agreed.
The burger was pretty good. The burger was better than the burger at Johnny Rockets, in my opinion.
Oh.
It was just a great setting. If you're a sports person, you like to watch sports, then obviously it's the place to be. I would say as an area to hang out in because of all the retro video games, Playmakers is right up there as one of my favourite places in Wonder of the Seas.
Izumi, I really loved. Again, we did the ultimate what's it called? Dining package on this trip. This is the first time we've done it, probably the last as well, only because the value it gives you is better if you've got a lot of sea days. So all of the itineraries that we've got on our upcoming cruises don't have as many sea days, and we kind of question whether we would actually utilize it. On this trip we had, I think it was 8 sea days all in a row. So literally we really used that ultimate dining package.
Because you can use it for lunch and
it was
dinner.
fantastic. Izumi, I loved. The food is fantastic. I'm a big sushi fan anyway. But it isn't just sushi. They have noodle dishes as well. They have furs and lots of different types of fried.
You had this noodle dish, but it looked like a bowl of super noodles. It really did. But the food was good. I mean, it
was really good. The venue, however, on Wonder of the Seas is poor. It's on, I can't remember what deck, quite low down. It's in a corner.
4?
It's really dark. They've done it in like dark kind of wood panels. I don't know what kind of look that is because it feels like a traditional kind of gentleman's club.
Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, we're not that kind of gentleman's club, no. But yeah, the venue wasn't good, but the food was terrific. So that was my second choice. My third one, if I have to really pick only one, I think it probably would be Part 150. I mean, we went twice. Because the first time we went, there was still loads of other menu options that we wanted to try.
No, I had
and he had 2 options at most courses. There was still more that we wanted.
I couldn't,
so we did twice.
I couldn't decide between the beef rib and the pork belly, so I had both. And then on my second sitting, they do, it's like beef tenderloin and they carve it in front of you for 2 people. And I said, could I have that for 2 for me? And
listen, if you only go to one paid restaurant or one specialty restaurant on your cruise and you really don't know which one to choose, I would opt for Part 150. Have a look at the menu online, see if the food,
But Part 150 is only on Oasis class ships.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's in the park.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're on an Oasis class ship, try and get into Part 150 if you haven't tried it before. Honestly, it's a really beautiful. I mean, even the bread they bring you out at the beginning. I don't know what they flavoured that with. Let's just say it was a sharing loaf. I had 1 piece. He ate the rest before I had finished my appetizer.
He's still burned by that.
So, it was. Listen, the service is fantastic. It's so elegant in there. We weren't dressed up, but it just feels classy.
Yeah,
it's a nice location. It's a fantastic location in the park. And the venue inside is sumptuous, and the seats are really plush. The service is impeccable, and the food is great. Yeah. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick that one.
Part 150, yeah.
And I'm interested, on one of our previous videos on, I think it was a Princess ship, you said at that time that Princess's Crown Grille, which is their steak restaurant, was way better than Chops, which is Royal Caribbean's steak restaurant.
That's true.
We, however, went to Chops on this sailing. And what was your thoughts on Chops?
I always found Chops to be really underwhelming. When I went into Crown Grille, I was like, Crown Grille was so good. If you've been on Princess, you'll know what I'm talking about. $25 for the cover charge and Crown Grille, you can't go wrong there. Black and blue soup is the best soup I've ever had in my life, hands down. But Chops did something I never thought they would do. Their New York strip steak, which is like a sirloin, was to die for. It was. I said at the time it was the best steak that I'd had. I think I said about 4 times during this sailing that was the best steak I ever had, which makes it meaningless. But honestly, the food in Chops, the sides are. I could go. I'm not fussed about the sides. I thought that they were pretty disappointing, really. But the steak itself.
Hell yeah, the French fries in Chops are hardly worth it. Go and have Playmakers fries.
Playmakers fries.
Have your steak in Chops and then just nip downstairs to Playmakers and get your fries there.
Yeah, there was something. The sides in Chops were just not good, but the actual steak itself was outstanding.
Okay, so is Chops or Princess's Crown Grille the better steakhouse? Yes or no? Which? Quick.
Okay, to be fair, I'm going to go with Crown Grille purely because of
not because
of the steak though, because of the soup. But it did.
You heard it here. Right. What do you think, Ant, about Hooked, which was another specialty restaurant?
Hooked was probably the restaurant I was most looking forward to before going on this sailing. We had watched a lot of videos on Hooked. Is Hooked on Odyssey? I can't remember. We've got Odyssey booked.
I don't know.
And I think it was one of the newer ships, and I was like, can't wait to try that. The lobster mac and cheese looks so good, and I was not impressed. I found this. I had the surf and turf, which had like the lobster tail and filet mignon. My filet mignon was overcooked. The lobster tail was pretty much non-existent. The lobster mac and cheese didn't really have any lobster in it, and we had a show to go to. And again, because the service was not very quick, or was quite slow, shall we say, we missed dessert because we had to get to the show. We had the aqua show that night.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And so I never got to try the lemon tart, which I was really looking forward to.
I kind of liked Hooked. I like the concept of Hooked because I eat a lot more fish than Ant does.
You had the messy fish.
I had the messy fish sandwich, which was basically like a McDonald's fillet of fish, but on steroids. So I really enjoyed the food there. I thought they had like the bread at the beginning had jalapenos and kind of spicy cheese or something in it.
Yeah, that was
Again,
nice.
that was terrific. And the sides there were really good too. So I kind of liked Hooked. Did it live up to the hype? Well, perhaps not. But then I wonder if, because it's a fairly new concept, I think before Mason Jar, it was the newest kind of dining concept on Royal. So there was a lot of hype. It probably didn't live up to it quite as much as I'd hoped. And the other thing that I didn't like about Hooked, particularly on Wonder, is the location above the Solarium Bistro, which is in the Solarium area, and it felt like in the UK we have leisure centres, which are kind of where you go to do sports and the indoor pool and stuff, and it kind of felt like the cafeteria at a leisure centre, and it wasn't a nice kind of dining environment. But that was just me. But I think when you're comparing it to places like Chops, like Park 150, the venue is a letdown and the food wasn't fantastic. It was good.
It was good.
But it wasn't kind of like, wow.
It was good. Was it $60 good if you were paying a la carte?
No.
I think if you like things like oysters, because big shout out to one of our favourite YouTubers who's probably never going to watch this, Sharon at Sea.
Sharon at
Sea. Her partner Jamie is a massive oyster guy. He loves his oysters. And they've actually got a Hooked video on their channel. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But they actually really, really loved it. And they say it's one of their favourite restaurants. So I think if you like things like oysters and stuff like that, you are going to get what you want. But I just think on this sailing, and it may be because it was a transatlantic and they can't stop to restock fresh fish, I guess. I don't know what the logistics behind the food on the transatlantic is. But yeah, it was good. It wasn't great, and it certainly wasn't worth the $60. I think because we had the ultimate dining, not a problem. Okay, I'm gonna ask you very quickly about El Loco Fresh, because El Loco Fresh it was a new concept on Odyssey of the Seas, Mexican food, grab and go. I know what I feel about El Loco Fresh. What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that, and I love Mexican food. We've been to Mexico a number of times.
He's wrong. El Loco Fresh is amazing. I would sneak down. I went down and said, I'm going to go get some food from El Loco Fresh. And I had a huge plate of like meat and rice with the best nut cheese sauce and onion and jalapenos. And I liked it so much, I had another plate and I could barely move. It was, for me, outstanding. I loved it. And the ready-made burritos were really good. How could you not like those?
They were dry.
They were not dry.
The rice was dry. There wasn't enough meat, and what meat there was in was dry.
No lies.
We're not going to. That's all lies. We're not going to agree on that. If you like Mexican food, you're going to go and try it anyway. And hey, it's an included venue, so go and try it. But I wouldn't. If I never went into another one of those again in my life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No big deal. Okay. Out of the included venues, then. Strangely, we didn't go to the main dining room at all.
No, I didn't.
We already planned not to go in.
It was beautiful, though. We went and had a look round, and I thought that the actual setting was wonderful. I've always had a problem with the main dining room. I always feel like you're like cattle being. The irony being, I've been complaining about slow service, but on the main dining room, it's like service that's been turned to 15 because I feel like you're just being pushed through as quickly as possible because they've got so many people to feed. And for me, it just lacks. I don't like it. I've never very liked it. I feel like it's just mass produced stuff. I'd be happier at McDonald's, to be honest, than the main dining room.
And talking of McDonald's or burgers, there
Johnny
is
Rockets.
a Johnny Rockets.
We had a
I
Johnny
think most
Rockets.
of the ships have a Johnny Rockets, don't they?
They do. Their milkshakes are. Oh, and I had a milkshake and the float, the Coke float, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But
Burgers, listen, if you've been to Johnny Rockets, you know what to expect. I don't think it was any different for us on this trip. One thing that
They
we
didn't
did
give you any cutlery
point
for the,
out,
messy fries.
Can you stop talking over me?
Sorry.
One thing that we did notice was they served we ordered burgers and fries and onion rings. They served the onion rings and the fries almost as an appetizer. We completely finished them. And then they brought the burgers. And when they brought the burgers, they said, is there anything else we can get you? I said, well, yeah, more fries would be good. But then we'd almost finished our burgers by the time they brought the new fries. So a hot tip here, if you're eating at Johnny Rockets and you order fries with your burger, be very clear in your instruction that you deliver the fries at the same time as you deliver the burger, please. Because otherwise, hey, it's going to be a little bit messed up.
The thing is, they weren't even busy. There were probably only like four. No, there were hardly any people there, and there was loads of staff. So I do not know what they were playing at. They were.
Question:
Okay.
Windjammer, yes or no?
Okay. When you finish a Royal Caribbean cruise, they send you a questionnaire where they ask you to rate certain things. And I love the Windjammer. I think that they set the benchmark for what a buffet on a cruise ship should be. It is better than what I had on NCL. It was better than what I had on Sky Princess. And then we went to the Windjammer on Wonder of the Seas. And it was possibly the worst buffet I've ever been. I feel like we're just complaining about everything.
There's no possibly about that.
I do not know what went wrong.
Now, look at the two of us.
We like our food.
We like food, okay? So you can trust us when we say that buffet, despite the fact that it is humongous, you walk in to that venue and it looks spectacular. You feel so welcome and so excited when you go into that venue.
Yeah,
it
totally.
Branches off in two directions and it completely encircles the boardwalk area.
But they have like two sets of areas to have food, but they're identical with what you can select. And on some days, they only had one half open.
Yeah.
And the other one was just shut off.
And that's the thing. It looks huge, as if there's going to be a massive variety of food. There isn't.
There isn't.
The variety of food is actually probably less than some of the smaller ships that we've been on, even in Royal's own fleet.
Yeah.
But it's not just the lack of variety.
I complained.
It's the quality.
I complained on Sky Princess about the lack of variety.
Yeah, you did.
And I have to say, Sky Princess, the quality of the food in the buffet on Sky Princess was so much better than what we had.
So you should be eating your words instead of the food at the Windjammer. Because despite the lack of choice at the Windjammer, it was also the lack of quality.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't eat one meal there, and I think I probably ate three times.
I had a couple.
Maybe.
I went there for breakfast a few times, and it was meh. It was just so. And I love breakfast in the Windjammer. I love lunch in the Windjammer. I would make a point of going there for dinner. We even said when we were planning this and we were talking about the ultimate dining package, should we pay for it? It was the debate was, well, I'll probably eat in the Windjammer more, knowing that the Windjammer is that good. But it was just, I don't know what happened. I feel like I just hope that this is not representative of what the Windjammer is going to be moving forward, because we have 3 more cruises with Royal Caribbean booked, and we've booked 3-night dining on Ovation. We haven't booked dining on Odyssey, I don't think, and we haven't booked dining on Anthem. And I do think that I'm hoping, because they're all quantum class, that it's a smaller Windjammer, there's fewer people to put through. I just hope that it's not representative of what we had on Wonder. I mean, it wasn't good. I'm not going to say it was terrible because it was still edible, but the benchmark had been set by Royal Caribbean on their other ships, and it was just a huge letdown. Yeah, don't, if you're on Wonder of the Seas and you've been in the Windjammer, if you're on one of the sailings now, or you've been on the sailing since it came back to the Caribbean, I'd love to know in the comments what the Windjammer's like, because has it improved? Is there an issue with, again, the logistics of getting food onto the ship and having enough food to be able to do the full crossing is something you have to consider. Because on one of the last days, you had a biryani. You went down and had biryani, but they had no curry sauce to go with the biryani. It was literally just dry rice and lamb. But there was no... Was it
No, it wasn't dry rice. When I asked for the curry sauce that should go with a biryani, he pointed at the beef stew and said that. I said, well, no, that doesn't go with biryani. He said, yes, that's the sauce. So for anyone that served lamb biryani with beef stew to go on top, come on. That's just, don't insult our intelligence. Just, if you don't have all the ingredients, just take it off the menu.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. But also for comments, I would like to know personally, which you prefer, the burger in Playmakers or the burger in Johnny Rockets.
Playmakers.
I know which one I prefer, but I'd love to hear what you think. And
Playmakers.
also, I'd love you to comment if any of you have seen anyone eat at the doghouse. Because I think we walked past that place 15 times on that cruise. I don't think I ever saw one customer at the doghouse. Listen, I know the location's not great on the Wonder because literally within 20 yards of the doghouse, you have Johnny Rockets and Playmakers.
I saw one person have a hot dog, but they were sat in Playmakers. Now, I don't know if they got the hot dog from the doghouse and walked across the way to Playmakers or not.
They probably took their food from Playmakers and went and got some fixings from Doghouse. Because I didn't see anybody having it. So, but please, if you've had one on Wonder of the Seas, something from Doghouse, please let us know, because we didn't try that. And
I tell you what else we didn't try. Actually, one more before we get to the Solarium, because a bit of controversy on that one. Park Cafe is essentially very similar to, if you're on Quantum Class, Cafe 270, and they are famous for their beef sandwiches, and they did not disappoint. The beef sandwich was amazing. Oh my gosh, that horseradish mayo was, it's like the elixir of the gods. It was so good, absolutely amazing. Get to Park Cafe, but it is exactly the same as Cafe 270 on Quantum Class. But yeah, but then I do want to talk very quickly about the Solarium Bistro. Why didn't we go to the Solarium Bistro, Glenn?
It was closed.
It was closed to anyone who was not Pinnacle. I think it was open in the evening to everyone else. But the Pinnacle, so on this sailing, there were a lot of Pinnacles, a couple of hundred, and there were a lot of people who were Sky.
These are the top loyalty program.
Yeah, they have 700 Crown and Anchor points. Apparently, to get Pinnacle, you would have to spend around $500,000 on Royal Caribbean cruises to get to that stage. So, there is an argument there that they do deserve the benefits that they have. But this video isn't about that. But on the Solarium Bistro was closed to Pinnacle guests only, purely because there were so many on them and they didn't want to overwhelm the Coastal Kitchen and the Suite Lounge. So we didn't get to try Solarium Bistro, but I can tell you now, I really like having Solarium Bistro breakfast. And I've had it a lot because it's right in the Solarium and you can go get your breakfast, then you go get a sunbed and you're in the Solarium for the day. And that's how I've always done it on Quantum Class if I've not gone to the Windjammer. And so yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to experience that, because it's always a good place to go. So that's what we ate. A lot of food, really. I put on so much weight. I really, really need to go on a diet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, you know where that big red button is. It's somewhere down there. Thanks so much for tuning into another Wonder of the Seas video. You ready for another cruise, Glenn?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bye.
Bye.